Good morning. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the eclipse, and I'm at a bar, so it's a bit loud. I needed to get out of my house to do some writing before I head to Thailand, and I wanted to talk to you about what just happened yesterday and a lot of the astrological implications and how this is more of an effect, how it affects you. So because the sun is in Leo, there was an eclipse with the sun, which is clipping things out. The star in the heart of Leo, the constellation, is one that goes after vengeance. So in the smaller scheme of things, the smallest scheme of things, you're playing, okay, let's just start macro. In a macro, and the ideal of things, for just viewing this eclipse and its implications on a macro level, it is the fight between ego and what's in the heart. Again, we're thinking of Leo, which is a fire sign, which is very playful, and the star and Leo is very courageous and follows things on the outlines. But there is the conflict of ego within the Leo itself. So this eclipse happening alongside with the retrograde of Uranus, alongside with the retrograde of Mercury, alongside with the previous moon eclipse that just happened a couple weeks ago. This is almost what they call blue moon. It's not quite a blue moon because there aren't two full moons in one month, but this is a very heavy time because there's a pull. This is a final attempt with this eclipse because we've not had this since 1918, the Earth. Actually, let me fact check that. I'll let you guys know about that. But because we've not had that in several years, this is a final attempt before another revolution comes to pull people down, like this darkness that comes, the darkness that you felt yesterday at the moon, with the moon hitting the sun, being actually in direct alignment with the sun, can cause all kinds of issues. So this is a final plea for people to kind of pull you down to a lower level while the remainder of us are ascending into a higher consciousness. And with that, there's a lot of fear. When I was outside, I live at the University of Washington. When I was outside, I was getting ready to go into a shower, and I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, it's the apocalypse." Like, come on, we know it was not the apocalypse. But speaking of, I did stay in the sun a bit too long, and so I can't look at anything too long. I'm starting to get blind spots, so I'm a little nervous and called a doctor, see what's up. I'm sure I'll find out shortly. But I've been wearing sunglasses, and I didn't want to do that for the video, so you guys felt like I wasn't watching you, but this has kind of been helping me out. Shout out to Boneyard Brewery. And it's just focusing on what is in front of us now and where we want to go, and understanding what true royalty and love is. And so I had a moment where I was like broken down this morning. Like, I was doing my laundry and everything just hit me. This actually feels better to talk to you all with sunglasses. But I just wrote this incredible book about going through the worst time of my life and turning that into a win. This included getting into law school, walking out of law school, suing a company by myself, and then choosing not to take the money and signing because I didn't want to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Now, I'm open to whoever wants to do that, right? Stand up for yourself. But how I felt at the time was that nobody could pay me to be silent in an era of Black Lives Matter, in an era of women's rights, in an era of immigration lives matter. You know, we can't be quiet anymore. And that's just never ever been who I was or am. I am consciousness, so I'm happy to let that go. But it just was one of the most incredible moments. I was actually listening to my favorite band, Lotus, and Umbilical, and it was just like I cried because it was just over, and I just was like, "Thank you." I just put both hands in the air. I was just like, "Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. This is it." I got through the worst of it, and it is officially over. And so, wow, like traveling through Mexico and Guatemala was one like part with $200 over the course of 10 months, not knowing what I was doing, just seeking out an answer and having faith and trust in myself was like one part. But then, you know, coming back to the United States and not having $100 when I came to Seattle, and like scraping every single cent that I had, picking up jobs. I bartended at the Showbox. I was serving at Gordon Biersch, and I used every single cent of it to pay for classes. Now, I was already pursuing a doctorate, so there's no need to return back to university. I found a place called Hugo House. That's a place for writers. A lot of best-selling authors come out of this place. And it's every aspect of writing where professional writers who've published teach you every inch of the business that they know. And I spent time doing that. Every single dime I had went into classes for 6 weeks, for one day, for however long. And then I started going to the library. I found that if you all come to Seattle, there's a program called Seattle Writes. I highly recommend it. There's free classes that other people would usually teach at the Hugo House that each instructor does, or somebody from outside does, to teach a class to the community in different libraries, branches. So that was incredible for me too. I was like bouncing around from place to place, like definitely doing a lot of Airbnb and like doing short-term agreements for leases until I moved to the U District when I was ready to start writing my book. And I did something called National Novel Writing Month, which is called NaNoWriMo, which I won. And that's where you write your entire novel in 1 month of November. And so you just have to reach 50,000 words. And so I reached my 50,000. And so that's been just like, just an incredible trip, just like coming from that place. And I used the energy of the university to help craft the energy of the book. So it was very emotionally draining. Writing about why I left to Mexico was probably, it took months out of me. Both emotionally draining, both because I put so much of myself into the book, and then emotionally draining because there was emotional parts. Writing about the lawsuit, writing about law school, writing about my experience in Ghana. That's not really writing about family issues. It was not really pleasant experiences, and then added on to additional weight of external stimuli, like, oh, y'all hear this? Mary Jane. I'm so glad it's legal here in Seattle, by the way. Which, I did medicate this morning, so shout out to Papa. You feel me? No. So I would definitely it was painful. Like winter here in Seattle, I've not had a winter in years. Winter, living in Phoenix when I was in law school is just like quick. We don't have winter. It's gorgeous. It's like springtime. And then living in Mexico and Guatemala, it was just like a party every day on the beach, or just experiencing life on different islands and stuff like that. So it was definitely an Anyway, I had to. So it was pretty hard, that experience during winter, and then there was the election and the energy of people, and people are generally nice in Seattle, but with the weather being so gray, people are not so nice. So that's its own trick. Um, and then what else? So I started my own company. I started my own brand also within this year, Unapologetically Marinike, designed for the diamond in the rough. Um, while I was finishing the book, I used the energy of University District while kids were partying because I live on Greek Row. It's like a lot. And when it was time for finals, when it was time for Dead Week, I used the collective energy and the conversations that people have about assignments and professors to help motivate me. And everybody's got young minds and we're curious and interested in learning. And we accept teaching moments. So I use the energy to help finish this book, but it was a bit rough. It was like definitely a bit of a shit show. I put off a few things. It was one day I write every single day, but there was one day I did not write, and I just felt like out of it. But using my own brand, like creating my own brand, has been pretty great. So I found something called FBA, which is Fulfillment by Amazon, and they help sell all of your products. They host all of your inventory, so you ship your stuff, which the business model I follow is one of the top 100, and I ship all of my inventory from China, which is where I buy my stuff, to the Amazon warehouse. And this is one of the things that I'm selling. This is a back raise, and it's pretty awesome. I'm going to use this alongside the backpacks I'm going to sell to help with, again, the diamond in the rough. Definitely like the self-exploration, the moving forward. And just the eclipse just reminded me, like, girl, the hardest part is over. And I am so humbled and just like happy that that's where things are going. So things are great. Things are so good. There's been a lot of like micro aspects or logistics to my business aspect outside of just like writing my book in 1 year. I'm also doing all of my marketing. I just hired somebody to do videography for me so I can do something for my website. All last weekend, I think I've had a website for like 2 months, and I've been teaching myself coding, and some of the aspects of the website has been just like a bit of a joke. Seriously. I would publish it and it wouldn't look the way I wanted it to. So it's a lot of trial and error and just like labor of love to put this into it. And it's just like such a good time now. I'm just like so happy. It's eclipsed over. So there's that. And then I also bought my ticket to Thailand last week. My one-way ticket before my book tour, and so I can really focus on my brand, my business of selling on Amazon, and then in other aspects, to make sure that my 30s are financially secure. But I made sure that I did this by using reverse engineering. So when I left on my trip, it was important for me to know who I was when I was happiest. But how did I know who I was when I was happy? I was like not known what like consistent happiness was. Like I knew, okay, I got into law school, I'm happy temporarily until I have an exam, or I graduated from college, or I got a job touring with like whatever band. So that's been a bit of a fun process too. And now it's just being able to focus very much on the next steps of my business and growing that so I can throw the ultimate party. And so that's kind of my thing. Just want to throw the ultimate party. I want to make sure all the people have no excuse not to come. And I want to make sure that when they show up, it's going to be completely taken care of for them. So that's my why. I've done enough, and I'm just like, I'm happy that the eclipse, this is it. Like, it is all over. But in terms of logistics aspect, there's 3 areas that are incredibly I guess the minutia of these things are kind of heavy. The first is marketing. So I hired somebody to do videography for my website to help promote for my book for agents. That's 1. And then 2 is I have my Amazon business, which I've been following Gary Vaynerchuk for a while, and I really respect him. He's an incredible entrepreneur. Helps a lot of us in our 20s who understand the value of the most expensive currency we have, which is time. And he divides a lot of the things up in regards to marketing and how you can help market yourself or your brand by understanding the psychology of different social media outlets. The first social media, I don't even want to list all of them, but you all know, like Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook, Musical.ly, Twitter. He lists about how you don't want to use the same profile picture for each of them. You have to understand the psychology of why the person is on certain social media platforms and how you can market specifically to those areas. Okay, that's already 1. That's like with the brand. The third is building this and doing a lot of the negotiations from China, doing a lot of my own websites. That's been its own thing. And then the third is the trip. So needing to sell a large majority of my stuff, which if any of you guys on Greek Row need any of my furniture, whatever, I've put a lot of it out for you guys. But finding an apartment, do I want to live in Chiang Mai? Should I just continue doing the nomadic thing? It's just a lot of excitement. So I'm just so happy about the eclipse. My eyes hurt a little bit still. I get blind spots. There's this cocktail menu, and I can't see what it says. Maybe you guys can read that. But it's I get flashes. So I have to go to writing class at 2:30, and I'll probably bring you guys along with me, but I don't want to walk. The sun is so bright. I feel like if I look at it, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to finish this, but I wanted to give you guys an update because I really appreciate all of the love and the random messages and stuff like that. You guys, it's coming. I've just got a lot of areas in my life that I'm working out in terms of my career, and this is awesome. This is the happiest and freest I've ever been, and I'm just I'm so thankful that I'm on the other side of this. I definitely recommend it if you can. Jump just once in your life away from what everybody says, how you feel, because that's the inner thing that you hear. It's your feelings. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. If you don't like what you have to do in your life, if you don't like waking up, don't feel like that's called adulting. That's called being a bully to yourself. You cannot be a good parent to your inner child if you're telling yourself negative things, let alone any other human being. So, yeah, follow your heart. I'll take you guys with me. We have a really long day today, but it's great being an entrepreneur. I do what I want. I can have a beer or a pitcher before the rest of my work day. So, yeah, I'll take you guys with me. Happy Tuesday, the 22nd.